Hey, everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. Why don't we talk this week a little bit about the importance of protection against the sun? Now, I know recently we did a What's Up Wednesday on the importance of heat exposure and the things we can do to prevent different types of heat illness or heat-related issues coming from working outside. And this time, I think, talking a little bit about the importance of protecting ourselves against the damaging rays of the sun. Now, I know that in construction over the years, I've seen a lot of changes related to this topic, and I know that a lot of employers now provide sunscreen for workers to use on the job site. Now, some of us we're sun worshipers. We love to be out in the sun. We love to get tan. But I think today the risks are so high that we really need to consider that. So here are a couple stats to think about. It's estimated that approximately 9,500 people per day in the US are diagnosed with skin cancer, 9,500 people a day. Now, research shows that non-melanoma skin cancer, including basal cell sarcoma, as well as squamous cell carcinoma, affect more than 3 million Americans every single year. That's a lot of skin cancer. When you think about 350 to 360 Americans and literally 3 million people are being diagnosed with skin cancer, that's a pretty good number. That's almost 1% of the population. Now, I think it's fair to say that there's not a lot of doubt that in the construction industry, workers face the highest risk. And the reason for that's fairly obvious. They're working outside, they're working in the sun. I would say that people doing landscape maintenance and that type of work probably have a very comparable exposure, again, outdoors all the time. So, the issue is the ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun. And not sure why it seems so different than 50 years ago, but we're just seeing such a predominance or a prevalence of skin cancer now coming from exposure. Now, some studies have been done, and roughly 15 to maybe 22% of construction workers say that they actually apply sunscreen. That depends on different factors and age groups, obviously. About 24 to almost 30% seek shade, meaning they try to plan their work where it's going to be shady in the morning and then move in the afternoon to where the shade is as the sun moves. And then about 51% of workers say that they actually wear protective clothing. That would be generally long sleeve shirts, maybe a buff or some kind of a cover for the neck, the ears, and the face, and then long trousers. So, what can we do? What are the answers to this increasing risk of skin cancer? Well, we've identified that there are kind of 5 key areas that we as safety professionals should focus on. Number one is, when possible, we should move to shade. Can we do our work in areas where it's shady in the morning and move and do work in the shady areas of the afternoon? When possible, that's obviously our number one choice. Number 2 would be to apply sunscreen. And even though they say SPF 15 to 30, I think SPF 40 and 50 is where we should really start. Now, if somebody wants to get tan and they're working outdoors every single day, even with SPF 40 or 50 applied, eventually their skin will brown up. Another thing we can do is wear a wide brim hard hat. Now, I know there are a lot of hard hats that are just a front brim, and some of the new helmets may or may not have a wide visor or a wide brim on it. But I know many of the manufacturers also make sunshades that fit on the hard hat to give additional shade so that the neck and the ears and the lower parts of the face are not getting exposed to sunshine. And then the last 2 things we can do are, 1, wear a long sleeve shirt. And there's an argument on whether you get hotter wearing long sleeves or whether it cools you because you sweat. And I understand that argument, but I do see people who have been working outside for many years and who are aware of this issue, and they do tend to wear long sleeves under a t-shirt or an orange shirt or a vest or whatever it might be. The last one would be to wear long pants. And in construction, I think that goes without being said because it's required by law. But we can look at a lot of professions such as delivery drivers, UPS, FedEx, Postal Service, people working at resorts as an example. Oftentimes they do wear shorts. So when we think about that exposure, it can be much greater depending on what the profession is. I think as professionals, it's part of our job to make sure people understand the hazard and do whatever we can to prevent that sun exposure that could result in burning and or potentially skin cancer down the road. So, as they say, the more we know, the better prepared we are. So take that out, share it with your crew, and we'll see you next Wednesday.